Nicola Sturgeon arrived in No 10 for crunch Brexit talks with Theresa May today as Westminster scrambles to head off a constitutional crisis over flagship laws. The Scottish First Minister has refused to give permission to sweeping legislation that copies EU laws onto the British statute book in time for Brexit. Mrs May insists the laws are vital to deliver a smooth Brexit, but because they impact on the whole UK is supposed to get a legislative consent motion from the Scottish and Welsh Parliaments. Ms Sturgeon, together with Welsh First Minister Carwyn, have so far refused to agree, insisting they need stronger guarantees powers in devolved areas will be sent to Edinburgh and Cardiff. The Prime Minister could force through her laws without consent, but doing so would be unprecedented since devolution. Adding to the sense of crisis, the SNP in Holyrood are pushing through alternative laws in defiance of advice about whether Scottish Parliament is allowed to do so. Ahead of the talks, Ms Sturgeon warned, "We are not expecting an agreement to be reached on the withdrawal bill today, as there are no new proposals from the UK government on the table. The amendments currently proposed by the UK government do not have the agreement of either the Scottish or Welsh governments, as they do not respect devolution. No First Minister would agree to plans that would enable the UK government to take control of currently devolved powers without Holyrood's consent and without guaranteeing that the Scottish Parliament would have a role in future legislation in any area where these powers were used." The list published by the UK government last week only succeeded in underlining the threat and power grab, as it included key powers devolved to Scotland, including agricultural support, fisheries management, state aid and public procurement. She continued, "We are also concerned that unlike the rest of the EU withdrawal bill, the proposals on devolution are not time-limited, which means the UK government could hold this power of veto over devolved powers indefinitely." While Ms Sturgeon said she was determined to continue talks in a bid to reach a deal, she also made clear it is time for the UK government to show respect for devolution and accept that no changes can be made to Scotland's devolved powers without the consent of the Scottish Parliament. Today is an opportunity for the UK government to demonstrate that it is genuinely committed to acting in the interests of the people of Scotland and to respect the democratically endorsed devolved settlement, Mrs May said at this important meeting with the devolved administrations today. "I will be making clear my commitment to a deal that brings our country together, protects the security and prosperity of all our communities and business sectors, and reinforces a union of nations. We will discuss the EU negotiations and EU withdrawal bill, and how the UK government has tabled an amendment that will ensure the vast majority of powers returning from the EU that cross over with devolved competencies will transfer directly to Edinburgh, Cardiff and Belfast. I am determined to secure a settlement that delivers an unprecedented democratic dividend for the people of Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, while protecting and preserving the precious union that is at the heart of our past, present and future success."
Tell me where the freak's at.